So one thing that it's definitely fun for me to get to sit and talk about painting, but it is weird. What I'll say is that the majority of what I feel like I'm looking at and reading about is a lot of like performance theory.
Okay.
So it's, if anything, I don't know if that's relevant to bring into it, but that's where I was like, again, it's like, I think that's where I do sit in sometimes a strange space where the work itself performs in this way that is very much like even within this modernist trajectory, but a lot of, I guess that's where I think sometimes the spaces that are generative for artists don't always sit within that same medium.
I also want to be clear. I don't think you're a modernist.
Okay.
I
mean, that's where it's like, I'm like, but it's a good question. I'm like, what is my relationship to modern? I don't know. Like,
no.
But it's like,
well, I think that modernism and painting are pretty much like, that is the big pivotal moment. So it's hard to have another big painting revolution.
Yeah.
You know, like, and for that to happen, you'd need something just as powerful as the camera, you know, like, it's almost like it wasn't even its own fault that it happened to it. So within that context, but I do think that you are very conceptual. And I think that I think that it's fair to say that pretty much all painting is conceptual. It's to some degree, right? Like, so, just because we started picking apart the concepts, you know.
Well, I think that's even a good place to end on, is like, if there's a point of view, and part of why I still feel like I lean into this very physical kind of approach to painting, it's that there is it's like the theoretical expression of these embodied spaces have as much seriousness as something that seems like it's, I don't know, totally anti-aesthetic conceptualism. And so that there is something interesting and about the kind of type of thinking that a body can do versus something that's like purely analytical in a kind of more rigid sort of way. So
it's kind of a throwback to that period where people were resistant to digital image making and stuff, but then, you know, it's still like artisanal art making.
Right. But those boundaries of kind of high and low, they don't have to be so rigid.
But that it brings up an interesting point, because it sounds to me like the most miserable you would be as a painter is if you had a studio making work for you.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, that to me defeats the total purpose of for me making a painting is 100%.
All right, there we go. That's the end point.
Yeah.